Well, this is a 3-day pack trip that Jim Kline and I, Jerry Vinker, did in 1996 up the Grand Gulch, which is located just south of the Dark Canyon and Bears Ears, Utah, that we rode in our last posting. This ride is divided up into 3 sections. The first section is the next that we rode from Collins up to Polly's Spring and the Grand Gulch. The second section is from that camp up to the Big Man panel, which is a red pictograph on a wall. The third section of this pack trip was from the Big Man panel the rest of the way up Grand Gulch to the Cane Gulch Ranger Station, and then home. Yeah, there's a man up there in the corner, and then something else like a blanket or something under him. Oh, it's that same thing we seen down below. It's like a scroll or something.
Yeah, it's that V, wavy V
Yeah.
on the top.
And then a turkey right underneath that
Yeah, okay.
geometric design.
Right, I see that.
Well, another Anasazi stronghold here. I'll show you out over their valley. Jim's down the bottom down here. There's Jim. He's waiting for me out in the bottom. See, they look like child handprints in red. And then here's another one that looks like a swan or a goose. Yeah, it's 3 people. And the bottom one's outlined in red. And then kind of like a cow skull or something next to him. And then above them they have the adult hands in red. And then off to the side are the children's hands in red. And I'm a little outpost here, probably a bedroom or something back over in here. Here's a big grindstone that they ground so much on, they ground clear through it. Where they grind their corn in it. Some pieces of pottery. Another little sleeping quarters out here under the edge. Now here's another one, back under the edge of the cliff. Grind their arrows straight with. There's a group of them up here. This fellow must have been an arrow maker that lived in this house. Well, we found a canyon here. It's like a hole in the wall. It's got a pretty little creek coming into it, and I'll turn around and show you. Well, you can see my partner riding through the hole in the wall here. The amazing thing is you can't get it on film. The feeling for height in here is just amazing. It just goes up and it's clear back up over the top. Oh, you clear back up over the top of this. Oh, now stand still. A horse to stand still, then it'll be a lot better picture. Where the river's washed back out underneath this cliff. And I'll give you a little look up now that the horse is standing still. It just goes up and it hangs clear out over the top of us.
we're going to ride through it. Well, this is sure be a comfortable spot to camp. Back underneath here, it's real cool. Out in the sun, it's about 90 degrees. Back in here, I would suspect it's probably 70. What a great feeling. It's just like you're in a gigantic stadium. Well, we're back inside here. The horses found a bunch of green grass. They're liking it. Jim's taking a little break.
I was tired of riding that way, so I thought I'd switch it back around for a while here.
Yeah, Jim decided that we're passing up too many of these petroglyphs on the wall, so he's going to watch behind us and see if we're passing any of them up.
See if any enemies sneaking up on us.
Right. He's the rear guard. Well, here's another one, poked right up in the cliffs here. Kind of interesting. Got a little door and got a smokestack going out the top. Right up in the side of the cliff here, almost like it's a lookout. Looking down the canyon.
And Jerry's over here scoping her out. Well, it kind of gives you a different feeling when you've got a roof over your head that probably weighs tons and tons and tons and tons. Kind of intriguing. Makes you kind of have the heebie-jeebies too.
We can call this chimney rock, or we don't know what to call this point. I guess we'll just leave it up to you.
I'm underneath this great big aspen here, just grabbing a little shade before I head back down the trail here. Nice and cool back in here, and smells of sagebrush. Kind of pretty. Now we're heading up the creek here. You can see we're kind of a drop off here, but heading up over this ridge. We're probably about halfway now. Little animals are doing. Try to give you a look at the good majority of this upper stretch of the trail. It's just thicket that we're brushing through the whole time. It hasn't ever been brushed. Pretty thick. Come on, Chipper. Show you how we go through her here. Just busting on through. Little darling back here, she just keeps coming through. Oh, I'm probably rocking around here. It goes up on top. It goes around, I could see. Had a burn in here and we kind of lost our trail. It goes on up on top.
Trail here. Jim's coming up around the corner. I just came up it. That thing falls right off into an arroyo, and it's just barely wide enough for a pack to get around it. You okay? Oh, okay.
He didn't like that spot. Oh, shit.
Mule stopped, huh? Boy, she did the same thing. She's looking around there. She says, I don't know about that. She turned around. Come on, darling.
Come on, darling. Get around.
Well, we think we're in Grand Gulch now because we just went through an intersection. Back here we think was Bullet Canyon. And we got another Kiva ruin up here. I would give you a look at.
Well, we think we guessed right. This looks to us like Bullet Canyon up this direction. There are a few ruins up there. One of them is called Jailhouse Ruin. And as to why, it probably looks like a jailhouse, I guess. And then this goes up Grand Gulch, this direction. Kind of a rough go we just came through.
Well, I think they call this the thumb, if we are where I think we are. And hopefully up around the corner is going to be another spring, because we're getting ready to stop and we don't have any water in our creek at all anymore. It's getting late in the evening. As you can see, it's a dry creek bed. Well, here's another ruin. We're up past Bullet Canyon, about 2 or 3 miles. We got look like little beehives actually. They build like a lath on the inside out of brush and grass, and then they plaster it. We'll go up and have a look on the inside. And this is just to look into this. Now this opening here is no way big enough for me to get through. These people had to be really tiny to get into that thing. Well, looks like we had a regular little city here. A little group of little kivas and walls, ruin walls. Had them a little Grange Hall here in the center. Lots of pieces of pottery in that thing here. I'll show you in a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Well, looks like this pottery is of the basket weaving group. They used to make that basket weaving design on the pottery. This one must have been for a child also, or it's really a little person. Hard to get in there. Give you a look at all the pottery that's been dug up and laid out here. Little corn cobs, such. Here you can see how they chipped little toe holds in this rock all the way down. Got a wall at the bottom, must have had a top on it, came over. And here's a piece of grinding stone laying here that they use for grinding their corn, right in this corner. In this corner right here, you can see how the stone is pulled the stone through like so, and ground their corn right there. And I'll give you a different view of that kitchen table they have built in that little area there. And there's their corn grinding, the stone laying in it, and that depression where they put the corn in and grind it. And as you can see, they got more little kivas back inside there. Another one over on that side.
Look at all the...
Well, we got some pictorial stuff on the wall here. Here's one looks like a guy riding a horse.
Here's stripes. Coming down here, then you got something great big going around.
Yeah.
Come down. There's lines coming across this way.
Yep.
There's an actual big face there. There's some more over in there too.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the remnants of one up there, but it looks like the thing fell in on it, so there probably could be Anasazi's buried right there even. Kind of pretty. Well, I'm right up at the door of this thing, and had to be fairly small to get in here. You can see back in it, there's enough room for a guy to get in there and lay down and look out. This is looking back at the two that we were just at. This was their agricultural fields up here. And you can see the sagebrush really hasn't taken it over too much. There's a lot of cactus. And had a beautiful panoramic view of the canyons for a long ways down to Bullet Canyon. Takes off up to your left up there. And around behind me here, I'll swing around not too fast. Around behind me is another little old village. I just crested over the knoll, and lo and behold, there it is, right down there. There's quite a few of them, so we'll go down and take a look. This plant here is called Mormon tea. If you break off these little stick-like fibers and you seep them in water, it actually does taste like a tea. We're going to make some up tonight, as well as having some dock, which are some greens, sweet greens that we found growing. A lot of different variety of cacti, and some are bloomed out, some are. Here's a real good example of the barrel cactus, about 6 inches tall, and then you have another variety, and I can't remember what these are called, but supposedly you can take these and cut them open and cut them in strips and cook them in a frying pan. Well, this is the first good arrowhead chipping I've seen right here, and over here on this rock someone has placed some shards of pottery. You can see how the rock fractured and how they'd start chipping out to get their arrowheads. Again, this one was made out of stone, so it was mortared in, but it also had sticks in it too. And we have lots and lots of things to look at here. This is left by people who have been here already, are the shards and chippings of arrowheads and stuff. And Jerry says there's a grinding stone over here I've got to go look at. You can see where their walkway was coming up. They had chiseled their steps in, and they had a wall that was mortared, and this was their front entry right here. So they had a path coming up, and here's one of the stones Jerry was talking about, where they were actually grinding, right like this. Just actually fits that spot right there. See the corn? All hand mortared in. They had it sectioned off, probably sleeping quarters. Who knows how many people this accommodated. Some more things laying here. They must have fell and broke a lot of pottery over time. Look at the little storage area in here. Not very big. A nice play area out here for the kids. Little growing up in shrubbery now, but you see some of the different forms of cactus. One that Jerry's walking by right there, it's got sharp points on the end. This is that other variety of cactus I was telling you about. And there's a yucca over here too, type. I'll show you. I believe this is the yucca cactus. I may be wrong though. Looks as though this is where the kids were playing. There's a little person they made.
All kinds of things back up in there, and I got.
This is another one we keep seeing a lot of. This is interesting here. You can see mortar joints where it's been mortared. So this wall has fallen down off this ceiling here. And it just makes you wonder if anybody got killed in the process of that happening. Their home caved in on them. Here's a handprint. There's more down here on the wall, but you can't make them out.
Here's one where they put their hand on the wall, and it looks like they sprayed that white chalk over his hand and made a perfect imprint of the hand on the wall.
Don't back up. There's more down here on the wall, but you can't make
I just look down, and here's a little kiva down underneath. Got a large room back underneath this whole rock.
Wow, look at that. I see corn cobs back in there. I'm going to go down here and shine my flashlight back in this little thing to see what I can see. I got down in here and shined my flashlight back in here, and it looks like part of an old weaving loom. There's a division wall between two large rooms, and there's sticks that are mortared in for hanging things on. Very interesting.
Jim's found an old stick there. It's about 1,500 years old, been laid up there, come out of one of those kivas. He's going to take a flashlight and go down and stick his head in that kiva and see if there's a panther in there living.
Reverse my battery so I can see.
Grass mats laying in there.
Well, you can see that they're deteriorated, but that's what they are.
Yep.
They even had it partitioned off.
Huh.
Goes back in. Oh ho! Looks like maybe in part of an old weaving frame. It goes back in about 15 or 20 feet.
Huh.
And it's all, this is all blocked off. All the way back. It's a separate dwelling.
Keep the wind out.
No, it's a division between the two. It's mortared in.
Yeah.
There's a division between two different rooms. Boy, you dug down in this thing and oh, there's history in here. Wow, looks like there might even be some grinding stones back there. This is very interesting that a red line below the white. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 ears of corn with a person below it. And there's a deer down there. And something with a red head on it. Gee, you work your way out on these ledges here and you don't really realize how far off the ground you are. Wow. Really interesting though. Look at all the more handprints that are here. All over the place. There's a turkey. And off of the turkey, I can't tell if this is his cage or what. Another rattlesnake with a figure. And handprints everywhere. Here's a great big figure of a person right here. Wow, I'm on a drop off here, but can you see this? Wow.
I'll show you the one over by that white hand that was kind of parallel with us. You can see it better from out here. It's a picture of a man in red. Little handprints all over the wall above him and around him. Here we are at camp number 3. Jim's picked our greens for the evening on the way down the trail. We're set up and the horses are all high-lined down the swale here behind us. Down the wash, I guess you'd call it. Real pretty view out the back. And up in front here we got our little swimming pool, our own personal little pool. It's got this funny scum over the top though. Frogs are living in it. Lots of mosquitoes, but the horses like it. And we filter ours, so we don't care. And a pretty view out this direction.
In total, this was a 35-mile ride. We just took it easy and explored a lot.
If you were here, we could present you with a beautiful flower. Look kind of like a lily. Well, we're back home. This is camp number 3. We'll probably be out of here tomorrow. Horses are high-lined down over in there. We got us a little water hole right over here. Just right below all the ruins that we just were looking at. As the sun sets in the canyon, it just gives you a really wonderful feeling. You can see how these people probably enjoyed living in here. And different seasons of the year, and as the sun comes up and goes down, it just gives you an entire different feel to this whole thing. Looking forward to a good night's sleep. Good night to all of you, and we love you all. Well, this morning we're on the way and sitting here at a water hole, letting the old horses give a little drink. This little oasis here used to inhabit a lot of people. You can see ruins all the way around. They had quite a society here, living underneath this cliff wall.
One there and then one next to it. Back under the wall. This is really a nice little spot right in there. Not quite as secure, but very comfy. You can see why there's water all up and down the creek right here. First place we've run into water for a couple, 3 miles now.
This must have been the spectator seating for the ball games out here. It's like a big ball court in underneath here. Just all on all these ledges, they're just covered with ruins. Must have been quite a society, even those ones right in there. I'll head in there and look at some of the pictures. Wonder how many centuries this little old tree's been standing there.
Yeah, I'll show you another part of this same little village here. They had one back underneath. Well, if you can see it. Can't hardly see it under there. But it's back under the cliff. And then this cliff just has dwellings all over it. It's just, there's little flat spots all over that cliff where they piled up rocks and made them a place to stand.
Looks like they had an all-weather playground to me.
Now these picture cliffs are a bit different. They're kind of the sign of a cross or something similar. Yeah, a little.
Centuries this little old tree's been standing there.
Yeah, my guess is that tree was probably stuffed in the ground right there and they used it for hanging stuff on. It may have grown there. Yeah, I guess it's got roots. Well, common denominator, we got a big agricultural area down here on the bottom. There's water in the creek again, and you got a regular little village here, built back under a great big stone overhang. And it's just all kinds of stuff. I think this is what they call split level. And up on the cliffs, I think is the reason they have it called split level, because there's another whole level of little outposts up there. And that one there has sticks and all kinds of sticks on the top. They got an observatory on the top, probably for watching for enemies. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's in a very large, almost like a cathedral here. It's right up, straight up above us. Just keeps going up. And it overhangs, I would guess, maybe 40 or 50 feet back into where these dwellings are. Interesting stuff. A better view of it here, I think. Kind of see they made terraces out in front of their village. There you. There. And you don't see any writings on the wall like most of the places. Looks like they've got a cave up in behind it though. Yeah, I got back in the shade here where you see it a little better. When I'm out in the sunlight and they're back in the shade, it's kind of hard to get a good picture of them, but sure interesting looking little places. I think this is the one they call split level. They have a little patio area here. Little patio area, and then looks like a little barbecue behind. Amy Lou quit. This one over here is maybe a storage bin, or maybe they lived in there. It's hard to say. Sure had a nice little area out here in front though, sandy beach, just like living on the beach every day. Just to give you an idea, up above, that's straight up right now. Now I'm going back out over my head, so that cliff is back over behind me, about 30 feet overhanging behind me. I don't know whether you can get the feeling of it or not from shooting it this direction and then down. Well, you got another ruin on a wall again, one of these big canyon walls. Thought I'd give you a look at it. Seem to be running into them about every 5-10 minutes here now, all of these big canyons where there's water. Yeah, thought I'd just give you a look at this canyon. It's kind of neat looking. We're getting up higher in the canyon. It's getting narrower now, zigzagging back and forth. Louis L'Amour's little people are up on top watching us all the way. The creek is way off over here to the left, and I think just around the corner here is where we're going to come to Toddy Trail. We'll go off to the left on Kane. Hopefully. Yeah. I think it's just around the corner here. I'm not sure though. It's so hard to judge distance in here. Yeah, we thought we'd show you this petroglyph. It's a little different than most. Here's another one up in the cliffs. We're wondering how he ever got up there. And there's petroglyphs up on the walls there. Oh, yeah, this is a natural arch up here. Got a tree growing up near the side of it. Well, these are some more up above the natural arches, and then the turkey pen ruins. Well, these may be turkey pen ruins for all we know, but there's just been ruins in every one of these big bowls like this.
Oh, about 5 miles from the rig. We've had to filter our water just about the whole way down here. The middle portion of the Grand Gulch is the most beautiful, with the best artifacts and ruins. There are people up there.
We come to a unique spot here, just kind of like a bowl. We're not sure where the trail goes. The creek zigzags around in here so tight. Got the little people up on top. Who you stand? The creek goes down around behind us.
Well, we're on our way up out of here. We're heading up Kane now, and you see we're at a ledge that we're heading up through, and we're saying goodbye to the ancient people. And you can see the top up there, and that's where we're headed. We're about 2 hours away from the top. And it's real pretty riding down through here. Just thought I'd show it to you. There's an interesting boulder that fell off the top. So glad I wasn't down here when it hit. There we go. Now you can see the heel and the toe. Water over in here. Sorry about that. I'll have to edit that out. See where some of these big slabs are coming down off the top? Boy, you wouldn't want to be down here when they did. As we head up out of here, we got a rack of beef around us. We're on the top end of the feedlot. We're just breaking out over to our rig. Ooh.